Hello, everyone. Welcome again to another webinar with one of our alumni. He's not new to this kind of conversation. We've done one before. It's on our YouTube channel. That was back when Jacques was working at Hure. So uh, Jacques started off, his journey with data science, I think in JQuat, if I'm not wrong, or with
Yeah,
his undergraduate at JQuat. And then he came to learn data science at Africa Data School. That's where we met. And then after he finished learning data science at Africa Data School, he became a tutor at ADS. And after a while, he went on to Hure, and that's when we had the chat. From then on, I think he's done like three more major steps over the course of the year. So it's all right if we catch up with him right now. So without much further ado, Jackie, I don't know how you introduce yourself now. Back then, you used to introduce yourself differently. I think now you have more experience. I think more
yeah,
titles. So please go ahead and introduce yourself.
yeah. Thank you, Duncan, for that. My name is Jacques Khisa. Like Duncan has mentioned, we have actually worked together before, and also we have partnered on a various number of projects. Besides that, that's just all of that is what actually has brought me to be who I am today through the different experiences and the networks that we have actually had. So currently, I'm the CEO of Voyage Companion and also a co-founder. For the last 2 years, you've been building this travel tech startup. Majorly, what we are doing is we are streamlining the workflows and operations for travel professionals, and also boosting the customer engagement of the personalization of customer experience as they are perusing or maybe trying to access their travel products. We've been able to do that for quite a number of months now. We are running our pilot stage with a number of companies in the pipeline, and also we have made some very good partnerships with AWS and Microsoft, who has enabled us to be able to bring this solution to the market. Um, my day job, I'm actually an AI engineer, so I haven't stopped being an AI engineer. I believe that it's just a different stage where I have different responsibilities, but on a day-to-day basis, I still learn. I still think more about where AI is going, what's the impact, and how we can bring that back to the community, and also try to educate people and see what are the opportunities that they can have in this space. So really glad and really thankful for you to have me here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. So I think I'm gonna start from let's start from your data science journey because Africa Data School
Yeah,
seems like the place where people just come to start. So let's
yeah,
start there. If you can remember, what made you, want to learn data science in the first place?
yeah. So, like you mentioned, I have a background, or my undergraduate, I did it in JQuat. I did computer science. So I didn't really have much interest in data at that time because there was so much for you to choose from. But for my final project, I decided to do a data project around predicting customer behavior using those very basic and very initial classical models or predictive models. And since I wasn't able to actually actualize that project, it motivated me to look for avenues of seeing how I can actually improve the skill, because that was just a project. I didn't really have enough skill to understand the different dimensions of data and also the different skills that I need to acquire before I can run a successful project. And that's what, between finishing my undergraduate and starting to learn at Africa Data School, I thought that would be the right path for me to take so that I can fit into the industry. At that moment, I felt like there's a lot of data. Most of companies are producing data, and there'll be a gap for skill set that will require people who understand this data and who can also provide insights out of this data. That's what brought me to learn that at Africa Data School.
Okay, what year was that?
I think that was just on the onset of coronavirus. That was around the COVID period. That was in 2020, yeah. Before that's around January to March. Yeah.
Okay. So you
So
still
it was around that period. Yeah.
okay. I'm asking because now we have different stages in AI that have gone on so
Mm.
fast. So that was the beginning of almost like generative AI was just
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was the
So
first
actually,
time we really saw generative AI
yeah.
in action. I think that was that year, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's because I think 2 years prior, there was batch the paper that they published about attention is all you need. It was published in 2017. So by then, I think we already had transformer models. We already had GPT in by 2020 already doing at a production level. So yeah, at that moment, there's already use cases and actual AI capabilities that you're already experiencing.
Okay. That's great. So even and by the time you're in high school, I'm pretty sure you don't know anything about transformers. You don't know anything about GPTs. So then you decide what went through your mind when deciding whether or on which school to go to. I think that one is an important one. What went into it?
Yeah, so actually for that, at that very moment, to be frank, there wasn't any institution that was offering data science, to be very frank, that was very popular. And um, I was coming from a domain where I understood that if this is not being already offered in the university level, then it will be quite hard for me to extend this skill because it was very new. And it was very hard for me to compare maybe institutions and validate and say this is the institution that I want to go to. So at that moment, I took a break just to analyze and see which institution am I going to go with. And through that research is when I saw Africa Data School. And what drove me to that was I think most schools were offering software engineering, they're offering networking courses. And the fact that Africa Data School was very particular about data, it was just an automatic fit for me. So I felt this is the right path for me. And that's why I enrolled for the course.
Okay. That's good. Which cohort were you in, if you can remember?
I don't think I remember my code, but yeah,
It was 2021 or 2020.
it was 2021 towards the end, up to now the new year of
Ah,
20, no,
2020.
2020, 2020 from January to March. Yeah, if I'm very correct, that's the actual period.
Okay.
Yeah,
So now from 2022, right?
yeah. So from 2022, yeah, 2021 at the end, maybe at the beginning is when I became the instructor. Then towards the end is where I actually took up more responsibilities with NVIDIA.
Okay. So now you've done the course and at that time, because I think we've changed the curriculum a lot of time. What was the when you were teaching, what was the thing that you used to stress on, or what was new at the time, if you can remember?
At that moment, yeah. So at that moment, I think the whole pipeline, right from um, acquiring data, preparing data, um, doing the analysis, the dashboards, and also machine learning. All of those blocks were quite very interesting. As some of it was already being done because some like banking and insurance, they're already exploring ways to do business intelligence using data. But my main focus was majorly on the data itself and the acquisition build because this was a challenge I faced myself in terms of just coming up with the data to do the project to begin with. It was quite a blocker. It made me not to do my project successfully. So my main focus was if the students really at that moment understood how data is acquired, how data, before even you worry about the whole process of preparing it, and what are those sources. is it something that you also have to worry about other avenues, like is it very huge amount of data? Is it a high velocity data? So all those kind of characteristics I thought was very important for them to understand, because it shaped how they prepared their data. It shaped how they even came up with the models to run against that data. So I really emphasized on quality of data and also ease of acquisition of the same, because even at this moment it's still an industry challenge.
Okay. I think from the last time we talked, I remember we talked about before you actually got your the job, the first job.
Yeah.
What was
Yeah.
the timeline between uh, working on data or learning at Africa Data School to securing a job? Can you remember that timeline?
I think it was quite short, because in 2021 towards the end, um, I'd already started getting opportunities, because it was very clear there is a gap in terms of talent. And this is also something I was also communicating with the classes that I was teaching, that it's not a matter of employment, it's a matter of positioning yourself in the right industry and learning the right domain, because there's a lot of opportunities. So that was happening right when the quarantine period was easing, that is towards the end of 2021. So I managed to get a job with two. I got two opportunities at that point. I got an opportunity to work with Huri AI in Armenia. I also got an opportunity to work with Digital Equity Association in Switzerland. And all of these companies wanted me to be their AI consultant, stock AI engineer, sort of to lead their teams to build AI products into that industry levels to be able to serve their clients. So from then is when I actually began the active involvement in those active projects
And how did they get to
in
reach you?
that capacity.
How did they know about you?
Yeah, so it was actually very interesting, because it was in one of the workshops you were having, because
Which
we were
workshops?
just not only teaching. Um, I think we had one workshop which was a partnership of NVIDIA and Africa Data School.
Oh, okay,
At
then
that
do the
moment, we
workshops.
were
Ah, I can remember them,
yeah,
yes.
yeah, 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 we were facilitating, local communities, local developers to build AI and
Yes.
such. So yeah, since we were just not only educating students, we are also educating professionals, um, guys in very high levels of management. I think one of them approached me and asked me if I'll be willing to work with them in their company, because they didn't have um, an AI engineer. They also didn't have a data scientist. They wanted sort of a mix of both, and they were part of that workshop. So they saw that this is a skill they can actually leverage, and through that is when I actually was able to meet them, sit down with them, and see what are the responsibilities they require from me.
And that was a free roll.
Yes.
Except now they used to reimburse you for expenses for holding the event. I really don't think there
Yeah,
was any payment. So you just put yourself out there and got
yeah,
noticed.
there was we hit the road for quite a while, because at that very moment, like you mentioned, AI was just coming up, and it was not a matter of me securing a very good job. It was a matter of, in my position, how can I empower even the students to have that skill that I was also having, so that they can thrive in the industry. So I wasn't getting paid, but I will say I was getting paid in terms of the amount of information and the experience that I was getting, and that has made me to be indisposable up to this moment.
In the course of helping others, you found someone
It's
to
yeah,
help you as well. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. First, let's fast forward to so you work in Hure, and why did you leave?
So I worked in Huri for 1 year. It was a contractual job, so
Okay.
it was an unwritten contract. But at
Mhm.
the same moment, I was hired specifically to build one specific project, and they were coming up with the Huri metaverse. So They wanted to come up with a solution of a conversational AI experience that combines different chatbots, which could work for a common goal. And we built that product for a betting company in Armenia. So they wanted an engineer who could be able to design that, and I was able to do that with the team for around 6 months. Then for the follow-up 6 months, it was more about trying to test that with the user to see how the solution is enabling them to run their business more effectively.
Okay, right. And so once you were done with Hure, what was next after that?
So while I was actually working at Huri, I also did mention that I was also doing part-time. I was actually part of Digital Equity Association. So they came up, that was an NGO, and they started now the business side of things. So they came up with digital equity analytics, where I was the CTO now. I transitioned from being an AI engineer into a CTO, where basically I was leading the whole technical development, product development, and also coming up with infrastructure. So I was doing that concurrently with Huri. So when my contract ended I think it was in 2022, that's when I picked up fully the next role of being the CTO for Digital Equity Analytics. So we did a couple of projects together. We did a project for IABC. Majorly, it was a monitoring system that leveraged sentiment analysis. The system could go on Twitter or on Facebook, analyze the sentiments of the tweets, trying to get the temperature at that political moment. We also did the same similar project for Nigeria, and we came up with a dashboard that also did the same thing. It was AI powered, and it actually gave me a lot of experience in working with different cloud providers, different technologies, and all that. So I was able to do that up to the end of should be 2022. I think you're on.
At the end of 2022, I assume you now did not have a job anymore.
No, I did have a job.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I question a lot of things because one of the things that I was questioning was, um, is it the right decision? Is it the right moment for me to pivot? Actually, um, should I actually move from chasing a career or to build my own initiative? Had I acquired enough resources to actually do that transition? So it was a lot of questioning period. But one thing about what I had done in my previous job was I had gained some networks, I had gained some leverage. I worked for different companies. I still work for NVIDIA. I had made some networks in Microsoft and AWS through the different projects. So that gave me the confidence to say, okay, I can start my own project. Um, uh, and then we can see how that can evolve through the months or even through the years.
Okay, that's cool. So now you decide now you want to build your own thing.
Yes. So at that time, I felt just like at the very moment before I joined, I decided to do my own work.
Mm.
Um, that's my baby. So
It's okay. Uh-huh.
at that moment, I had just like the way I pointed out that there was a skill gap for me to be able to join the different responsibilities. There was also a gap in terms of how AI was actually being used to deliver actual or impactful, um, you know, sort of benefits to these businesses. Some even up to now, some business leaders are still skeptical about to what extent really this AI is improving their business. So at that moment, I felt like, okay, there's a gap, not just in technology, there's also a gap in the service sector, and specifically in travel, because I had experience in building conversational AI. I felt some challenges in hospitality industry. I felt some challenges in customer service checkpoints, and that's what made me to align the technology skill that I had picked, the experiences I had picked, and match that with a real business use case or a requirement. And I think when you have both, then you can comfortably say that you have a product that you can push to the market.
Correct. And how long have you been building this?
So we've been building. We started actively right 3 months after I was done with my contract. So that was in October 2023. So we incorporated the company in Kenya. We hired, I think, was two data scientists and one software developer. So we've been building that for the last should be one year and some few months.
Oh, okay. And
Yeah,
so just explain in layman to me and Jane, what does
yeah,
Voyage do and why is AI important in this case?
yeah. So Voyage Comparing is we are still in stealth, to be quite clear. And what we do right now is we have three major ideal customer profiles. We are targeting the tour operators, we are targeting the hotels, we're also targeting, we're calling them the destination management companies. For instance,
So
an example
tour
recently,
operators,
tour
hotels,
operators, hotels,
and the
specifically
last one?
bespoke hotels. And
Okay.
then the last one is destination management companies.
Okay.
So we identified a common pain point for the three of them. Their main pain point was of course poor operational insights, and also the other was inefficiencies in terms of how they manage their itineraries, how they come up with the itineraries. Um, Through our solution, we're able to even increase the rate at which they produce these itineraries. Even in terms of how they're managing their day-to-day operations, we are already automating that for them. Talking about payments, talking about follow-ups for their customers once they have already visited a hotel or a destination. All of that, we're automating that using agentic workflows and of course, the chatbot experience.
Agentic workforce, workflows,
Yes, we are using. Yes,
agentic
we're using it.
workflows and chatbots.
Yeah.
So
Yes, experience.
do you know why I'm repeating that? We've come
Yeah.
from a point where we were just doing predictions the other day.
Yeah.
All we could do was just predictions, recommendation engines. For example, if if someone buys avocado, what is the likelihood they're going to buy a banana?
Yeah.
Prediction engines, is someone going to, or classification problems, is someone going to stop using a product or not?
Mm-hmm. Or not.
What is the price of the dollar to the Kenya shilling tomorrow? True.
Mm-hmm.
Agents. Just tell us what
Yes.
are agents and why you think agents are important and why someone who's doing data science should be going towards that direction, if they should be going towards that direction. Hello, Jackie. Jane, can you hear Jackie?
I think it's a period for us.
Come again?
Can you hear me,
Yes, I can hear you. Jane, can you hear him?
Duncan?
Not so clear, Jackie. Can you hear me clearly? Jackie, can you hear me? Jane, you can hear me, right? Okay. Let's see. I think maybe he's having. Jackie, maybe you can drop and then join back and see whether it works. Okay, let's carry on. Where were we?
Okay. Yeah. So you asked me about the agentic um, era, so to speak.
Yes, yes. Why is it important and why is it something
Yeah.
that people should be learning?
Yeah. So I think I was privileged to be to attend physically the one of the sessions from NVIDIA. I think it was the beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And what was discussed majorly, what was discussed majorly was how AI has evolved. Initially, like you've mentioned, there was predictive analytics. Then we were able to now start having the chatbots through the large language models, the transformer models. And now we have agentic workflows or maybe agentic AI. And then probably that is also coinciding with the physical AI through the robotics. So basically, agentic AIs, if I could just refer to the traditional way of how chatbots usually work, is that probably you'll connect your chatbot to your enterprise database or your enterprise sort of source of data.
Okay.
Then you're able to query, or your users are able to talk to this chat, and they're able to query. But then that has evolved because that was quite boring in the sense of it could not do some activities, or maybe it could not be able to solve some problems beyond the boundary that you sort of designed it.
Mm-hmm.
So the agentic experience comes in the sense of orchestration, because you have a company, and this company has a lot of processes that are running concurrently. For instance, in our use case, you have travel businesses. On one side, they're processing payments. On one side, they are doing marketing through the emails, through the SMSs. And then on the other side, their customers are actually interacting with the services that they're offering. So this created sort of made it impossible for you to create a chatbot that could do all this. And that's why the agentic AI comes in, because it merges both the same enterprise data that you have together with the processes, the actual business logic that you have in the company. For instance, if you want to automate email marketing, that is something you can be able to do that with an agentic AI process, as opposed to if you're to do that with a chatbot, for instance. So there are very many use cases right now we are testing out, but I can say that we are going towards a scenario where you can have several agents doing several tasks, and all of these are orchestrated in one unified platform, such that they give the user an experience as if they're talking to only one interface, while in the back of this process, there's a lot of um, sub processes that are making this experience more wholesome or even more fulfilling.
Got you, got you. And do you think this is going to be the way for the AI market
Yeah,
agents?
yeah, I think since right now the most popular use case of of um, of AI has been in natural language processing. So the biggest use case has been in natural language processing tasks like speech, and all these other verticals. So I'm thinking that this is a very important point, because it's merging all of these use cases together, because it's just not about text generation. It's not just about image generation. It's about
Mm.
how can all this be combined to make a business process work, or even how can this be combined to reduce the cost of a business, or even make more revenue. So I feel like some of the business leaders are already embracing it. Some of them, of course, are skeptical. There are other factors that play in to make this
Mm-hmm.
a success. Like you've seen recently the price or the cost of maybe inferring a model has reduced thanks to guys like DeepSeek. But at the same time, we have other challenges like lack of data, regulations around proprietary data that make it very hard for you to continue experimenting. But I can definitely say that this is the future of, uh, of the current part that we have reached is the future in terms of how large language models are being put into production and are transforming into business use cases.
Okay. Thank you for that. I think we will probably need another session for, we just talk about how you're solving a business
Mhm,
problem using AI at Voyage. I'd be happy to do another one as well.
mhm.
So thank you first of all for giving us, your background, your career progression so far, And hopefully Jane has gotten something from it. And I think I know you a lot. My questions, most of them you've answered. So I don't know if Jane has a question. Jane, do you have any questions? Any thoughts or comments? Jane, we can't hear you clearly. I think something with the mic. Maybe you can.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay. For me, I've learned some of the things. Although,
Come again. Sorry, we missed you again.
can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay. For me, I'm still learning. I appreciate that he has been able to give details about his journey. So I can call myself a starter. I just came across these links and I decided to listen to you guys. So I would like to transition to do a transition to a data analyst already. I have done a bachelor's in statistics some times back, but right now I was not able to continue, but I would really like to transition. That's how I came along this path. So I've been able to hear some of the things that I've been interacting with, like LLMs, NLPs. So I think I appreciate that he has been able to mention some of the things that I've been interacting with. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Jane.
Okay, thanks, Jane, for the comments. Do you have any questions, maybe to Jackie's or to me in regards to Africa Data School, the upcoming cohort? Do you have any question?
Yeah, I would like to know, question to you, I would like to know how long it takes and the next cohort, when it will probably happen, and whether you usually have online courses.
Okay, so first things first, the next cohort is starting on Monday, May 5th. The class is fully online. The class happens fully online, so you can join in. I don't know where you're located. Where do you come from?
TRM.
TRM. Okay, so if we most likely we had our office in Nairobi, but the classes are now fully online, so you can still join. You don't have to have the hustle and bustle of the matatus or traffic. So yes, the classes are fully online. The course, we reduced the course to take 2 months because the things we needed to do before were so many that we needed it to be longer. So like when Jacques was there, the course used to take 12 weeks. Now it takes 8 weeks. And it's because we continuously iterate the curriculum to suit someone who is starting out. So just know that you are joining at a time when the curriculum has very much been refined. So 8 weeks is how long it currently takes.
Okay. What time does it, like how much time? Is it
Okay.
recorded?
Yes, so first of all, we record all the classes, and then the classes happen between 5:30 and 7:30 p.m. in the evening. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So classes are 3 days, and the reason it's 3 days is because it's highly practical. The course is highly practical. So you need the extra days to submit an assignment every week.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Is that all?
Yeah, that's all for now.
Okay. Okay. Gloria, are you on? Gloria, you can hear us or you can hear me? You can maybe just put a thumbs up or just talk. We are almost done, but the reason I told you to join is, if you had any question, you could maybe ask right now. We've recorded the session, so you'll also get it on. We'll send you a link of the once we upload it. Gloria, you might have a question. Okay. All right.
Duncan, one more question.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I also wanted to ask whether the course would really suit me because I want to go in the line of data analysis, but then I think it's more of data engineering.
Okay, I think I'll let Jackie answer that question because because he's here, I'd be doing more of marketing. I think he'll be more practical.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Jane. So, just for you to understand the pipeline is, of course, you need to be able to understand how to prepare the data, wrangle the data. All of that is data engineering, including also having hand skill in terms of how do you pull this data in. For instance, let me give you an example. If you're working on, let's say, a proprietary software, or you're hosting your own application, then it means that probably you're hosting it on AWS, for instance. So you should be able to be in charge of how the data pipelines are configured, how you come up with the database, and all that. So that's what a data engineer does. And then for a data analyst, they sit on top of the outputs, or maybe the result of the data engineer. So you have your data that is ready, it's prepared, it's in the right shape. So what the data analyst does is they consume this data, they come up with analytical questions, or even they merge business questions, and they try to come up with the right insights. So it's more of a choice, but all of that is part of the pipeline. You have to be able to prepare data before you can even analyze that data. So it's one is giving precedence to the other.
Okay. So that does it teach also the data analysis part?
Yes. So what I mentioned for just explaining the data engineer is just for you to understand how it fits the data analyst, but all of that prepares you to be a data analyst. So a data analyst should be able to know how to acquire the data, should be able to know how to prepare it and analyze it. So all that process leads up to being a data analyst. I don't know if that answers your question.
So I wanted Jackie to just explain why or what it is and how they match together. And now for me is to tell you that that's what we teach. So if Jackie will bear me witness, we start all the way from do you know how to program? So we teach you that. Then we teach you how to get data from different sources. We teach you how to clean it. We teach you how to analyze it. And we teach you finally how to probably make predictions on it or build out different, if it's dashboards, it's dashboards. If it's output machine learning or predictive outputs, we go to that direction. But at the end of the day, you'll know the whole process. Then from there, you can decide which part of this process really gets me. For example, for Jackie's, his was what was the most important for him was how am I going to get this data? That was what was most fascinating for him. And I think he dwelt more on that. So for you as well, Jane, you might think you just want data analysis and data engineering. And then once you find out the whole spectrum, you might decide, maybe this is more fun than what I thought. So I don't know, you understand, you still get everything, but what this will help you is make a decision on where should I go. You understand?
Yes, we do.
Okay. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes.
Yes,
That's my
Oh, okay.
question.
if I could just add on that, Duncan, you can see even for me, I started with data and now I'm in AI. So yeah, it's exactly what Duncan has mentioned.
And Duta, thanks for joining. It's a bit late, but better late than never. So if you might have any questions that you have, maybe you can ask. But just to give you a heads up, we're going to send this recording uh, because we've recorded the session, so you can listen to it later on. So if you have any questions, kindly just ask. Do you have any?
Thank you so much. But right now, I don't have any questions. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I have a question for you. What is the inspiration for doing data science, or why are you interested in data science or even data?
I'm actually looking at venturing into data from accounting. So data science will help me a lot because dealing with bulk data requires you to know how to work around it.
Okay, that's cool. Jackie, do you have any experience with accounting, how people are using AI or data science in accounting? Do you have any experience so far you've come about?
Yeah, I think I haven't worked with a lot of financial data, but what I'm very much aware is just like every other data model, the most important thing is how do you make that data available for downstream tasks like analysis? How do you make it available for even AI? So my understanding is you need to work with the domain experts. For instance, you need to understand the business angle of things or the business department, how they run things, combine that with the analytical part, and combine that also with the experience with working with an accounting software. I think that's what can make you to be very, very efficient. Because if you look at even how the tools are structured for you to be able to do data analysis, we use things like Jupyter notebooks, which means it doesn't matter where your data is coming from. It just matters what you want to do with the data.
Correct. Nduta, let's try something here. What's the biggest challenge you have as in your accounting practice? Maybe or where you're practicing, what do your stakeholders say the biggest problem is? Let's start there, and then we see what we can come up with.
Okay, currently where I work, our challenge mostly is data warehousing. So if I'm able to advise management on coming up with better data warehousing, they probably appreciate. And I also think it will be very easy for a decision making and easier for analysis also. So ideally, that is what I think. Also, it is very important to be able to we have so much data lying around. So making that into meaningful reports, for me, I think that would be very ideal to the organization also. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So I think if there's something you can do your justice to yourself with, is that have a goal where when you want to come to Africa Data School, like you see that what you've said, we have so much data. How can I use it to help management? So you could one of the easiest ways to do it is just probably just visualize the data for management to start with. So it could be a goal for you that once you join, you want to be able to visualize that data some way, shape, or form. So with that, you have things to be asking your instructor. How can I do this? How can I do this? And you'll notice that you learn faster while trying to achieve a goal as opposed to when you're just, not saying that when you're just freelance that you won't get anything, but the learning process becomes more interesting and much faster. So I wish you all the best, Dunda, and I hope you get the best from African Data School.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
All right. Without any much further ado, thank you, Jacques.
Thank you so much, Duncan.
Yes, and hopefully you start asking us for interns. We have
Yeah.
we are ready to source them for you. So thank you so much for everyone who was able to join. Thank you for coming, and we will post and send you the link. If you've had the good and great gospel of Africa Data School, feel free to share with your friends as well. Thank you, and have yourself a good night.
Thank you, Duncan. Thank you.
Thank you.